Hey guys, Reece here with Trusted Companies, and we are back at the project, the full renovation duplex down to the studs. You can probably hear behind me, we got a lot of work going on the other side. Hopefully, you can still hear me okay throughout this video, but this is going to be a very exciting video because we're at a great point in this build where we can see a lot has been done. So I've kind of lost my touch from filming videos a couple years ago when I was making YouTube videos more consistently. However, my last video was probably more on demolition, getting this place down to the studs. Well, a lot has been done in between now and then. And this video is kind of overviewing all of the mechanicals are in. Mechanicals, electrical, plumbing. So we've got our HVAC fully installed. We've got our electric rough passed. We've got our plumbing rough passed. All our framing done. We passed our firewall today, or I'm sorry, yesterday, which is super cool. So now on the other side, you can hear all the drywall's going up. So we're gonna walk through this side first to kind of see what we're looking at here without drywall, and then head over to the other side and see how it's coming. All right, guys, so one thing that was unique about this property, because we took it all the way down to the studs, we did have to build this firewall in between the units. So we need a 1 hour rated firewall. Essentially, this is not a how-to video or even saying that I'm doing anything correctly, but it is a permanent job. So in theory, everything's correct. But we've got fire rated 5/8 drywall in between the units. Very extensive process to hang the drywall through these joist bays, seal them with intumescent fire rated caulk. A lot of work, but the guys are doing a great job. We've got everything framed up. We've done some subfloor prep with this cement board for tile. Might have been a little bit premature on that, but I work with some full-time guys that work with me and then some subcontractors. So some of this stuff is done a little bit out of order just because I'm keeping my full-time guys busy. You can see that between this video and last video, we've got insulation in, we've got blocking for our kitchen cabinets, we've got all of our electric done, we've got our plumbing in, and I can't get downstairs in this unit because of the drywall, but we've got our furnace on. It's 0 or negative this week, so it's nice to have that heat kicking. Something to keep in mind if you're doing a project like this of your own is you really need that heat on before drywall starts going in. So not particularly hanging drywall, but when you're mudding that drywall, it will never dry if you don't have heat. And worse, it may freeze the mud and crack. So got the heat on as of a few days ago, and we are working on drywall now. You'll see one more thing to note about that firewall is that firewall has to go all the way up into the attic, all the way along. And this was a really big pain in the butt. I'm gonna see if I can show you anywhere else. But essentially, you can't really see, but it goes all the way up to the sheathing of the roof. So a lot of manpower, a lot of effort to get that done, but we've got some great drywall hangers right now and they're moving real quick. But besides that, one thing I learned on this job is that we had all the insulation done, which you need done prior to drywall, and that needs to pass insulation inspection. But you can see that the drywallers then had to remove a lot of insulation to get the firewall up. So what I would probably do different next time is just have the firewall insulation installed and then get my firewall assembly completed, inspected, and they will give you partial approvals, at least in Franklin County, Columbus. I could have gotten a partial insulation approval, and then they'll come back. Now you have to pay more. It's $200 a trip here, which is quite a bit. It adds up. If you're doing 10 inspections, that's quite a bit. But the nice thing is these drywall guys are going to rehang the insulation where they had to pull it down. So really good crew. besides that, after drywall, it's going to take about, maybe I'm expecting 2 weeks for mudding. It takes a long time drying in between, sanding, etc. Probably a week for painting, another week for trim carpentry. We're going to try to have this place fully completed for, what month is it right now? January? For March 1st is the goal. Now, we may run over, but that is the goal. You'll see here as well, we got our fence. I can walk you guys around outside, but we got our fence completed. Really came out nicely. Nice gate, 6 foot tall privacy fence. And on past jobs, I have tried to do a lot more of this work in-house. I have, like I stated before, I have 3 full-time guys. Really 1 full-time guy, and then he brings some helpers with him as needed. And we would have, in the past, done this fence ourselves. Well, one thing I'm learning as we go along here is that subcontractors are really quite nice if you can find good ones. Because the fencing contractor here, I paid about $6,000 for that fence. And that's about the price I would have paid my own guys to do it, with labor and material, right? Because we are not as quick. We don't have the equipment to do it, so we'd have to rent stuff. And then naturally, we don't do it every day. And so there will be things that take us more time. So the fencing contractor came in for about the same price we could have done it, was in and out in 3 days in 20-degree weather, so not fun conditions, while my guys could keep working on framing, drywall blocking. We had some other things we had to fix, like raising the ceiling height at the stairs, things like that, and pushing the project along in other areas. So I am starting to really use a lot more subcontractors, so that way it frees me up to not have to monitor as much. My guys who work for me full time, I have to almost be a material runner for them. I need to be a project manager for them. I need to tell them what to do. But if I give the electrician plans, I need to quality control his work, but I don't need to micromanage him. He'll be in 3 days, he'll be out and done, and I'll check in if it was done according to the plans, and if so, I'll pay him. But no more of my time is required. I don't need to chase down materials for him or anything like that. One more note is I've seen some people on social media who are pretty active in the game. They have said they will always buy materials for their contractors. They don't want their contractors including material in the bids. Personally, I find that a little bit of a poor choice because, one, it takes a lot of effort to handle material. I don't want to chase down electrical material and then not buy something the electrician needs, and then now it's on me to go get that material for them. But also, you have a very low risk of contractors overbidding material as long as you get multiple quotes. Some professionals have said like, oh, well, the electrician's going to charge you too much for material. I'd rather go buy it myself. I'm like, well, if they do charge you too much, I'm getting 3 or 4 bids anyway. So as long as they're reputable companies, I'm just going to choose the cheapest one anyway. So it really doesn't make sense to me. I like to have my subs be in control of their material and give me a labor material bid. That way, I know the exact price at the end of the day, and they're not relying on me to get the material. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump over to the other side and see the progress. I won't have too much commentary for them, but I'll show you what's happening. And most of this work happened today. They are moving very, very quick. Something to stick around for and subscribe to the channel is once all drywall is hung, I am going to do a price overview for you guys. So how much money have we spent up until drywall completed? What did my electric cost? What did my plumbing cost? What did my HVAC cost, etc. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight into the finances of this project. So go ahead and subscribe for that, stick around, and I'm going to stop talking. I'll give you guys a little tour of this next unit. So as you can see, they're making really good progress. They started today, besides the center firewall, and they're probably going to finish that unit today. So I'll leave you guys with one final note on this video. Something I look for that's really, really important to me, might not be as much for other people, is not only the price of the quoted work for these subcontractors, but how long is it going to take them to do the work? So this project, I'd have to look at the exact timeline, and I'll get back to you guys in a later video on that, but I think we started this in November, potentially, and we had to wait for a tenant to move out. So we've really been doing this for about 6 weeks, maybe 2 months now. And I think we'll be done well under 4 months, which for me, I feel like is pretty good time. I mean, we might be closer to 3 months, but you know, that's something that's super important for me is timeline. You know, they've got, you know, 4 to 6 guys working right now, whereas if I chose maybe another cheaper drywall company, or even an individual, you know, contractor, they would take 2 weeks to hang this drywall, and then it would take them another, you know, month to finish it, right? And so that's opportunity cost, that's time, that's interest on the hard money loan. That's all things that I consider. I want a balance between cheap, good work, but also how quickly can we get this done? My plumbers roughed in this entire property in 1 day. They started at 6 a.m., they were done by 10 p.m., right? My electrician took a little bit longer, they took about 3 days. My HVAC took a couple weeks, but that was something where we could work around them as they did that. That was a lot of work. But that's all important stuff to keep in mind. You know, if my plumbers took a week and my electrician took a week or 2 weeks, it's just all that time stretching out the length of the job. Whereas if I can schedule everybody well, that's important as well, but how quickly can they get the work done? So I'll leave you guys with that. Price of the actual service itself is not necessarily the only factor to consider, the opportunity cost of how quickly they can get the work done as well. So thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate you all. I'm trying to get back in the rhythm of these YouTube videos. I really want to share what we're working on. Excited about 2025 here. So go ahead and subscribe. Hang out with us. We'll show you what I'm doing here, and hopefully have some more exciting projects here in the near future. Bye.